So when you look at the best handlers, all of them have a different style. There are their similarities, but some are more herky-jerky, some are more kind of slow and controlled, some are more strategic, some are more majestic and use more tricks than others, but all of them have their own style, right? Now, the one thing that stays constant between every single elite ball handler is that they're all very fluid with the ball. And not only with the ball, but how they move without the ball. They look very natural, right? They almost look effortless as they handle the ball. And this isn't just a byproduct of how well they control the ball, it's more of a byproduct of how they move. So when you add that ball in, it's easy for them. So when we start to train for these qualities, when we start to train to be fluid as a ball handler, we don't just look more effortless, we're also able to do more with the ball in our hands. And we spend less energy doing it because a lot of what fluidity is finding the most efficient ways to do it. Spending the least amount of energy to get something done on the court. So overall, the more fluid you get handling the ball, the less energy you spend, the more effective you are, plus you look better doing it, which can't hurt. So that seems like a pretty good situation to be in. So we'll check it all out. So one of the first things that you'll notice about all fluid ball handlers is that they're very good general movers. So I want to differentiate between general and basketball movements. So basketball movements are very specific, right? A step back, a crossover, everything that we do on the court. And most of us as hoopers, we've been doing these things since we were 4 years old, so these become natural to us. But general movements are these motor patterns, are these actions that are completely different from what we do on the court, right? So this could be playing another sport. This could be rock climbing. This could be doing something with our body that's not the same thing that we've been doing on the basketball court since 4 years old. So a lot of these very fluid ball handlers, you take them off the court and they're still gonna be good at general movements. Whereas in my experience, if you take someone who's less fluid off the court and try to get them to play another sport or learn something else that's not basketball, they typically look like a fish out of water. And that's one reason why a lot of the best, most natural looking hoopers have played other sports. These players pick up general movement patterns. They learn how to just use their body and move well. And as a result, that applies to the court, whereas more stiff or less natural looking ball handlers probably didn't play many other sports, probably didn't explore their movements as much as a kid. And as a result, they just can't pick up these things as naturally on the court. So when you don't have that general coordination that makes everything else off the court look good, when you do get on the court, you don't have as much of a foundation of movement to work from. So this may not mean a lot to you. I may be just kind of ranting about this, but there are ways that we can build our general coordination in non-basketball specific ways that are actually going to apply to the court when you start to learn new moves or pick up new techniques. And I'll show you a few right here. But one's just popping up. So a lot of training coordination just comes down to finding stuff that's weird, even if it's not a basketball specific movement. Getting there. And making it feel comfortable. The more movements, the more techniques that we can take when they're uncomfortable and start to work to make them more natural, the better we become as a general mover. They feel uncomfortable at first, but we're learning how to pick up these things. Now, number 2 is rhythm. So I could be wrong, this is just something that I've noticed, but a lot of the best ball handlers are also good dancers. Now, I may sound crazy, you may just completely dismiss that, but when you think about the core of each of them, it kind of makes sense why there's this correlation. A lot of it comes down to picking up new movements, doing it without thinking, and doing it in a very rhythmic manner. Because when you think about it, basketball is a very rhythmic game. Whether it's the coordination of the ball with your feet, whether it's getting all of your body parts to work at once towards one goal, whether it's getting into a rhythm and then breaking it to catch a defender off guard. Finding that rhythm and being able to work within a rhythm is huge for training as basketball players. So how do we train this rhythm as ball handlers? Number 1, I'll start pretty simple. So kind of rhythmic stuff with the ball where we're finding a rhythm, we're trying to work to stay in that rhythm like right here. And this will be pretty simple stuff, right? Most players will have this down, but it's just to expose them to the idea. So whether it's with the ball, whether it's without the ball, we're just working on these movement drills. They have to keep this certain rhythm, and then we can make it more variable with stuff like this, where we're dribbling with music, or we're dribbling to a metronome and we have to stay at a certain rhythm. Get a little bit mobile with it, fluid. And then lastly, once we progress from that, we train creating the rhythm and then quickly breaking it. Go! So let's say we're going 1, 2, 3, and then quick out of that. We're finding that rhythm and then we're quickly breaking it, and that's a lot of how we catch defenders off guard. Go! So I'll be honest, a lot of this stuff, I sound like a complete mad scientist, but if you want a more practical version where you can take some of these drills, apply it into your own workouts, and have a whole program, I'm gonna be dropping a whole 10-week program dedicated to building your fluidity and your shiftiness and making you look more natural, but also more effective as a ball handler. So check out the link in the description. Right now it's coming out next week, so you may have to sign up for an email list, but if you're watching it down the road, go check it out. It should be out now. Go tap in with that, and I promise you a lot of this stuff will make a lot more sense.